أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وسلم تسليما كثيرا. In the name of Allah, the cherisher and the sustainer of the universe, peace and blessings of Allah be upon our noble prophet and messenger Muhammad, his household and followers, and all those who follow the path of Allah till the day of reckoning. Viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to your Friday's favorite program on Metro TV, the Islamic Bout or Islamic Hour. And today I have a very important topic and then a very important guest. Information about Muslims and Islam usually is very, very scanty. Where you have this information, you know our lazy attitude, so this information are usually written by outsiders. When an outsider writes your story for you, two things come to play: issues about objectivity and background orientation of the person. It is therefore incumbent on all Muslims to rise up to the bill and write their own story. One of the issues that has gone under the carpet in our Muslim society is the issue of community well-being. Not to take everything from my guest, she would do justice to the topic, but every individual in a community must live in dignity and must live his life, we say, to flourish and also to achieve his potential, full potential, to flourish and then achieve his full potential. Today I have with me in the studio my sister Nadia Abdul-Rahman, who is an alumni of the Tostan 2019 Advanced Training. Let me welcome you to the studio for the first time and say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Thank you. By way of introduction, or to put our discussion in proper context, I would like you to tell me something brief about your background and then what you do.
Well, I'm Nadia Abdul-Rahman, as you earlier mentioned the name. I'm a Tostan alumni. I am a nurse by profession, but I work with Imam Abass Women for Development. It's an NGO with the goals of helping individuals realize their capabilities in the Imam Abass community and then build on.
Okay, that's wonderful. We are talking about well-being, human rights, well-being, and this cannot be done without looking at Tostan and then the training center. So can you educate my viewers or tell us something brief about Tostan and then the training that goes on at the TTC?
Well, Tostan training is in Senegal chairs. They uses a holistic approach in developing community well-being. And then they also use the human rights instruments and principles in helping develop communities. But they don't go there to develop the community. They allow the communities to vision and know what they want for their community. They prioritize things before they help their own community to develop. by using the Tostan training that is being taught by Molly Melchin.
Okay, so as a nurse, before, how did you, before you attended the first training, what were your hopes and expectations? What did you want to achieve? Why did you accept, in the first place, why did you accept the challenge to be trained? And then what were your hopes and expectations?
Well, actually, I love helping in developing communities, but I couldn't get the chance to acquire enough knowledge. So I had this Tostan training from a colleague NGO, and then last year I had the chance to participate. And then I was thinking my hopes and expectations were like it would be in a form of a lecture. We would be seated for them to teach us what we should know, but it was different thing altogether. Tostan, I would say Tostan Center is just like a community. They will make you feel at home. Their sitting arrangements alone is a plus. They sit in a circular form, allow you to express your ideas, share your experiences, just to make you feel at home. And they use participatory approaches to make you be able to participate.
Okay, so after going through, it means that you've gone through the basics and then the advanced training.
Yes.
Okay, what is the difference between the basics and then the advanced training?
Well, the basic training was about sharing with us the human rights instruments and the human rights principles, and also community well-being, visioning, and then capacity to aspire. But this year on, they deepened our knowledge in community well-being, the theory of community well-being rather, the capacity to aspire, problem-solving techniques, and then also the nature and dynamics on how to change a social norm.
Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, so after acquiring all this knowledge, the theory of capacity to aspire, the theory of social change, the theory of community well-being. So you've acquired so much knowledge. So how do you, now what are you doing with this knowledge now at the moment?
Actually, I'm impressed because we know human rights. People tend to think that human rights isn't in Islam. But during the Tostan training, we had a guest, Imam Sharif Diop, who aligned the human rights with Islamic quotations and the verses from the Quran, and then it was really a plus. So after my first training, when I came back, I met the community chiefs and then some malams. I met students, market women, and then some women in the community, and then I shared with them what Tostan training is about. Afterwards, I met some Makaranta Madrasa students from Tafsiliya, Irshadiya, and Thania Madrasat. So we discussed about some human rights principles.
That's wonderful. So how did they receive the new, approach?
Well, they were impressed because they didn't even know that some of these human rights are aligned to the Quran
and Sunnah of the Prophet.
Yes.
Okay, that's wonderful. So if I ask you, the Tostan training, you've mentioned a lot of things. Visioning, capacity to aspire, social norm, community well-being, alignment of human rights with religious texts. So we cannot discuss all, but I want you to pick 2 or 3 and then give me brief or highlight them briefly so that my viewers will also understand what's the nature and then the dynamics of the toast-stand training.
Well, I would like to talk about community entry first.
Okay.
With community entry...
So what is community entry?
Community entry is like you being an NGO and then entering into a community to probably share with them things they need to change pertaining to their social norms.
Okay.
And when you just go there, you don't tell them, stop this practice, it's not good, stop that, it is bad. You don't go there as, I am the savior, I am here to save you. But you go negotiate with them, you go let them feel that their social norms is important to them. But these are the reasons why they need to change some practices. But you don't go there, whenever you are entering in a community, you mind your vocabulary. And
the choice of words.
Yes. You don't, when you go to a community and you want to do an entry, you first have to know what they need. You just don't go there with your projects. That is why many projects have failed in Ghana and Africa and everywhere. Because when they go, they feel,
the people.
yes.
They assume they know everything.
Thank you, Imam. They go there thinking that this is what they need to do, but they don't do visioning with the community people. And there is this project that failed, a water project. They think the community need a potable water. So when they went to the community, they just made a borehole for them, thinking that people will come. They didn't even ask them what they need. And so afterwards, they came for monitoring and evaluation, and they realized that what they left is just like that. No one has gone there. So they met one community member, and they asked them that, you really don't have potable water, but we have made some for you. Why are you not utilizing them? Then the community member told them that where they have placed the borehole is where their ancestors have their meeting daytime. So they can't go there and fetch water because they think they will disturb their ancestors while they are making meeting. So they always go to where they normally fetch their water and then make use of it. So whenever one is going into a community, the person should try and find out the actual situation and then his desired situation.
Yes, Nadia, I will come back to you because permit me to do this announcement. First of all, I want to apologize to my viewers. Last week, I promised to send you dua from the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Unfortunately, I have been busy this week. Inshallah, this weekend, I would send it to you in the form of a video and then audio. Jama, last week, na alkawali na aika muku wa'ansu addu'o'i ban manta ba, na ɗan busy kaɗan yasa ban aiko ba, amma kada ku manta har yau muna neman taimako ma yaron nan da za a yi ma aiki. Waɗanda suka yi niyya an iya aiko kan lambar da aka saba aikowa 0243 118401 0243 118401. Okay, Nadia, let me come back to you. The approach, the Toscana approach, is very, very interesting. It means that it moves. There is a paradigm shift from days where people just talk and no action.
Yes.
People deliberate and no action. And this time around, you are moving from deliberations to action. And then the community themselves are fully involved in identifying a common issue, in framing the issue, and in reaching consensus and common ground before action is taken collectively by the whole community. That's wonderful. Our communities, especially the Zongo communities, are not used to this approach. It's been just from leaders and then to the community members, from leaders, from imams, community members, from chiefs, community members. Community members are not fully, do not fully participate. So you have a huge task as somebody who wants to effect change. So on your return from Senegal, for both part 1 and 2, you did some work in the community. You mentioned meeting madrasa, and then can you pick one of the things you did and then highlight it and then tell me whether it has been successful and whether there have been some challenges?
Well, last year I did human right to marry the person of your choice.
Okay.
But when I met the community leaders, I framed a story, and I was like, a 40-year-old farmer gave his 15-year-old daughter to a 50-year-old man who has 2 wives and then 5 children. Can they give me some of the causes why this farmer gave the child out to the 50-year-old man? And one elder was like, what is wrong with this? So I didn't talk because from Tostan, I learned that everybody should just participate, say what he or she thinks. So one person also contributed that that is better because the child would bring home teenage pregnancy. But one Malam was present, Malam Mohammed, and then he was like, the child should acquire knowledge, both formal and then madrasat, informal, whichever way knowledge the child should get, and also give example of a hadith saying, if even you go to China to acquire knowledge, you should go, something like that. So a lady was there. She was 20 years and she narrated her story, and I felt pity really, because she told us that when she was 16, 17 years, I think, her dad forced her to marry someone she didn't even love, and then she was having the intention of continuing her school, but the dad was like, no, he has helped us, so you have to marry him. Is like they are interrelated in the family, so she should marry him. The dad forced her and she got married to this guy, and she was narrating how she was maltreated at her marital home. So later on, she divorced and came back home, and the dad made her go back to school. She started a journalism course, and that was her first year. Last year she attended my program.
Oh, she's now a graduate?
No, she is into the training.
Okay.
And then it gave many elders there, those who came to participate, it gave them ideas on how to contribute. So all of them felt pity, and they were like, it is true. And they started giving a positive feedback on the story I gave.
Okay, this is a wonderful story. My time is up, I know. Very soon we have to leave, but we cannot leave without talking about the Qatar Center, who funded all of us to study at Tostan, or to be trained at Tostan. What is your relationship with Qatar Center before and after the training?
Qatar Center, I would say they are doing amazing, because it's not every donor who would send you somewhere to acquire a knowledge and come and share with the community. They believe more in human rights, and so on how to disseminate the information, they help us to go to Senegal to acquire this information and then come back to share.
So I think we'll have to come another time to continue, but what's your final advice as far as human rights and well-being, community well-being is concerned?
Well, I think in our community we have social norms, and then we have the positive social norms, and then the norms that we need to improve. So please help me to share this information so that we can all improve on the negative social norms in our community. And then with the human rights instruments, many people tend to think that it is not Quran based or it is haram and those things, but I am telling you that human rights has basis in the Quran, and then whenever we are teaching, we align it to the Islamic principles and then the verses.
Okay, viewers, all too soon, we've come to the end of today's program. If you enjoyed it, join us again, same time next week for yet another interesting edition of Islamic Buzz. My name is Abass Umar Abdul-Karim, and from the studios of Metro TV, I say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.